let me invite James to first maybe introduce himself and then talk about Project Octant. Welcome, James.
Hi, thanks, Pooja. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with everyone here that this new project that I'm going to be introducing today called Octant. So I'm James. My title at Golem Foundation is Head of Community and Partnerships. And I'm really excited here to share with you this new initiative that Golem Foundation has built called Octant. So as you can see the title here, it's ETH staking and public goods funding. And so we've designed this mechanism for sustainable and participatory funding of public goods projects. So you can pretty much understand the setup like this. If you remember Golem from a long time ago, we had a very successful crowdfunding round even before ICOs were a popular thing back in 2016, raised about 820,000 ETH, if I remember correctly, in a very short amount of time. The initial idea around this was to build a peer-to-peer marketplace for computing power. With the rapid rise in Ethereum and its value, this obviously led to us having a significant amount of funding. And so in 2019, Golem separated into two different entities. So there's Golem Network, which is still building this marketplace for computing power. And I work on Golem Foundation side, which is additionally pursuing different ventures outside of that initial mission, while hopefully adding both value to the GLM ecosystem and more broadly the Ethereum ecosystem. And so we think that Octant does both that. So with that in mind, the basic setup is this with Octant is that we're going to be staking 100,000 ETH and then using the rewards to power the application Octant. And so if you look in the middle of this diagram right here, any user of Octant who locks 100 GLM, which is about a $20 buy-in, so pretty minimal amount of capital needed to participate here, every 3 months, you're going to be presented an Ethereum reward relative proportional to how much you stake into the application. Now, this is totally non-custodial. You retain full control over your funds at all times, and you can withdraw at any time. It's all totally up to you. But every 3 months, as I mentioned, you're going to be receiving this reward. Now, what you can do is take that reward. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. But as you can see in this arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's also the ability to donate to different public goods projects that are whitelisted through the application. And so what we're trying to incentivize by donations is there's going to be a matching reward fund. So your donations are going to be multiplied, meaning that your money goes further if you donate versus if you claim that reward for yourself. So in a way, we're hoping to incentivize participation and self-imposed taxation, but ideally we would love to see some meaningful funding going to various public goods projects. Now, some small but important details that matter. So you have to lock GLM, otherwise you get nothing. So there's an aspect of taking action here. And then there's this magic of the square root that my two founders who are economists have developed. And so it's a really unique way in where the less amount of our total supply that's locked, there's actually a larger reward pool that is generated. And the entire mathematics and how it breaks out, you can see this in our documentation that I'll share at the end of this presentation. But essentially, if a lot of people who are claiming rewards for themselves, the few that choose to donate have even more impact over this matching reward pool. So their donations are multiplied even more. So it's pretty neat mechanism design. Where we further want to take this after this initial stage MVP that I'm describing to you right now is that we see this as a unique sandbox for experimentation. So what we're hoping to provide is an ability for developers, because we're doing this in every 90-day windows or what we call epochs, we're hoping to provide this platform to where builders who are developing some kind of coordination mechanism, maybe it's an anti-Sybil tool, maybe it's a delegation framework, whatever it may be. We're hoping to provide this area to where a developer can deploy their tool in our environment for any given epoch. And with users having real money at stake, we can hopefully provide them much more tangible feedback about what they're building if it actually works in a real life environment. So we see this as we see Octant as an experimentation across a few different fronts. Experimentation in funding of public goods via community-driven action, and then also experimentation around different coordination mechanisms and hopefully finding out what actually works in this decentralized space that we're all working in. And so we haven't launched yet. We're going to be launching in August. And so to kick things off before we launch, we have this initiative we're calling Epoch Zero. And Epoch Zero essentially breaks down to there's going to be $1 million worth of ETH that we're going to be donating to 10 different projects, including Ethereum cat herders. And so the way that that distribution is going to work is a vote that takes place on Snapshot, which begins on July 21st. And it's going to be running, or the poll is going to be open for a week long from July 21st to July 28th. And everyone who votes on Snapshot via a weighted voting mechanism, meaning you can spread your vote amongst any of the 10 projects or as many of the 10 projects as you'd like, that vote is essentially going to decide the distribution of this $1 million worth of ETH. And so the way that we're gating this vote is we're handing out POAPs to community members who care about funding public goods. So we've been trying to get the word out at ETHCC, at Funding the Commons, and other virtual events, such as the one we're doing right now. And so we're just looking to raise awareness around Octant and hopefully driving some impactful funding to these 10 different public goods projects, including ECH. And hopefully from there, kickstarting Octant and moving into this, I guess you could say, this continual evolution of experimentation in governance and funding. So here are the different projects. As I mentioned, obviously ECH is one of them, but we also have Supermodular, Protocol Guild, Giveth, Gitcoin, Kernel, ClearFund, DAO Drops, Drips, and ETH Staker. So these are the 10 projects that you can distribute your voting power amongst. And so if you would like to find out more, you can find out how Octant works and a lot more useful information. Our docs are, in my opinion, very well explained in a concise manner by visiting docs.octant.app. And so I'm happy to answer any questions, obviously Pooja, or if anybody else has any, but this is the basic gist of both Octant and what we're trying to do via Epoch Zero in building awareness around Octant.
Very well. Thank you so much, James, for giving this presentation. And I'm really happy that CATHEADers are part of this grant, public good funding round that we are having. And again, I'm happy that we are being considered with actually 9 other best ecosystem projects. So it's a great honor for me. I'm hoping people on call, they already have the POAP so they can get voting power. And with that POAP, you could be able to vote to any of those 10 votings here.
Yeah, so for example, like if you want to be able to support Ethereum CATHEADers and Protocol Guild and Giveth or ETH Staker, yeah, you can select those 3 or 4 projects and distribute your weighted vote, amongst as many as you'd like. So there's no, I guess, rivalrous way in which you're able to vote.